me! Hey, wait! I am so sorry to bother you, but I could really use your help, please. I'm trying to escape the date from hell right now, and the way that guy was screaming at me, I just don't feel safe walking back to my car by myself. Is there any way I could convince you to come with me so he doesn't follow me or try something weird? Wait, just like that? Ah, thank goodness. You're a lifesaver. I'm parked a couple of blocks this way. Come on, let's get out of here. The sooner I don't have to worry about that creep staring at me, the better. Again, I am so incredibly sorry for dragging you into this. I thought I was handling this garbage pile of a date night well enough, but then he just snapped. A complete 180 from the way he was acting before. I felt like a deer from a nature documentary once it spotted a tiger stalking them. Like, I knew I had to get the hell out of there, but I didn't know how to do it without making the situation worse. And then you and I locked eyes, and I just... Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Why did he explode? I told him I didn't want to move the date somewhere else. Honestly, I should probably start from the beginning. This might just turn into me ranting about how miserable it is to find someone new. Are you up for that? Okay, but you've been warned. The guy was supposedly my coworker's Nicole's cousin or something. She knows that I've been single for a while and looking for someone. So for the past couple of months, she's been pushing me to let her act as matchmaker between the two of us. Oh, you should totally give him a chance. He's such a nice guy, but he just can't seem to find a good woman. He's so sweet and has a great job. I think you two would be so good together, and he's just the nicest guy. I should have just listened to my gut, really. She literally wouldn't or couldn't tell me anything about him other than that he was employed and that he was nice. That's it. That was the first of many gigantic red flags, but apparently I'm colorblind. I swear, if I find out that she pushed him onto me so that he would stop whining to her about being single or something like that. But yeah, a couple of days ago I finally caved and said she could give him my number and he could text me after work. Oh, well, right away I get a text from him. It's not even 2 in the afternoon yet, and he's ready to start hitting me up. Which is annoying, but I figured maybe Nicole just forgot to tell him to wait until after work. I let him know politely that I was still at work and that I wouldn't be able to respond until after 5. It looked like he was fine with that, but then he just kept on texting. Like a dozen texts over the course of 3 hours, all filled with stuff like, I can't wait to start establishing a deeper connection with someone as lovely as you, and looking forward to laying the foundation for the mansion that will be our relationship, platonic or otherwise, with a winky face after it. Like, he was being coy about wanting to get some ass. Oh, I absolutely thought about stopping this right away, but when I mentioned how pushy he was coming off, it immediately turned into a guilt trip. He went on about how it had been so long since he'd had a partner that he didn't know where the boundaries were going to be, and he was just so excited to meet someone as wonderful as me that he couldn't contain himself, and on and on and on and on. He made me feel terrible for being uncomfortable with what he was doing, and he was a pro at it. I didn't realize that he was doing it deliberately until a couple of minutes ago. It went like that back and forth for a day. We would chat a little bit until he got super needy and pushy and personal, and then when I called him out on it, he would dial it back while making me feel like shit. Eventually, I decided to pull the trigger and arrange a date for tonight. I figured that I might as well just get things over with and find out firsthand if he was actually the nice guy he constantly kept telling me he was, or if my instincts were correct and he was just another creep. I don't remember the last time being right about something was so disappointing. Oh, I could tell right away that I had made a mistake. As soon as we sat down, the conversation was all about him and what he could offer me, regardless of whether or not it was what I wanted. He asked about my job, and then immediately turned around and went on about his own and how he could provide for me and how I'd never have to work a day in my life again. Previous relationships came up and he interrupted me constantly, saying how he would obviously never be as horrible to me as any of my exes were. They said he wanted to know what I was looking for in a partner, and then, without giving me a chance to answer, gave this long, nitpicky list of every criteria his perfect match needed to meet. Look, I'm not about to shit all over this whole tradwi thing or whatever. If focusing your attention on raising a family and keeping the house in order is what you find fulfilling, go ahead and play old school Susie homemaker. Hell, if and when I'm ready to completely settle down and have kids with someone, I'm not going to 100% rule out that path for myself if it's an option. Yes, exactly! You actually get it! It's not the default role for a woman anymore. It's a choice. But that asshole back there was acting like he knew what I really wanted deep down, because in his mind, every woman is the same and is going after the same thing. So, it was all about making sure he knew what was expected of me should he deign to consider me worthy of his interest. Which was basically to look good at all times, be utterly financially dependent on him, defer to his decision-making on important issues, and otherwise be totally and completely submissive to him. And not in the fun way either. Yes, I am flirting with you. Why shouldn't I? You're kind enough to jump into the role of knight in shining armor when a damsel is in distress. And you're a good listener, too. You also just now made sure that I was actually hitting on you, instead of assuming one way or another. That's refreshing, if I'm being totally honest. So, you've already ticked 3 boxes in the past few minutes, which is way more than he did over the past few days. That's a good question. What do I want in that partner? Honestly, I just want safe. Safe is underrated. I want to be able to come home at the end of whatever bullshit I've had to deal with in a world that is getting crazier by the day, and know that the person waiting there for me will make that place more of a refuge than it would be if I were alone. And safe doesn't mean boring either. Safe can still be good and funny and sexy and adventurous and romantic and everything else you could ask for. Oh, now you're just fishing for compliments. Come on! I was being shrieked at by someone over twice my size, demanding that I take him back to my place since he paid for dinner. It was very much a no second locations kind of situation. I wouldn't have picked you out of everyone else on that street if I didn't think you were both strong enough to protect me from him, and a good enough person to do so without asking anything in return. I'm just glad you were up to the task. Oh my goodness! You would not believe how many men think like him. Guys like that put on a show by pretending to be all generous at first. They buy you gifts without asking, refuse to let you pay for dinner, that sort of stuff. But it's purely transactional. The expectation is that they're going to get something in return, and pretty much every time what they're going to ask for is sex. And when they don't get what they want, they throw a tantrum. He even had the balls to say that I was leading him on when I had asked for precisely 0 of the things he offered me. Not that any of what he was saying made sense. He managed to call me a frigid bitch and a cold-digging whore in the same breath, as if those were compatible somehow. A pathetic last-ditch attempt to either scare or shame me into sleeping with him. I appreciate that. I'm not sure which I'm more grateful for at this point. You keeping me safe or letting me talk your ear off? You have single-handedly prevented this absolute disaster of an evening from turning into a full-blown tragedy. Well, here we are. Not a scratch on me. You, Sir Knight, have performed your duties admirable this eve. For your efforts, I think you have earned a token of your lady's favor. May I have the name and number of my strong, handsome, virtuous rescuer? There. Now you have my number and my name, Princess. Still, I don't think that's near enough compensation for your services this evening. Now why don't you come just a little closer? Oh, okay. Jokes aside, up until a few minutes ago, I wanted nothing more than to get out of here as quickly as I could and call it a night. Now though, I don't think I'm ready for the evening to end just yet. Plus, it would be a shame for me to have spent as much time as I did looking this good, only for it to be wasted. Do you have anything planned for the rest of the night? Well, then, how about this? Why don't we have a little movie date at my place? I'm definitely ready to be someplace quiet and comfy. And I think I would feel even better having you there tonight. How does that sound to you? Excellent. Here. Now you have my address. I'll still need to get back there and take my heels off. And probably panic clean because I left laundry lying around or something. But I could see you there in like maybe 30 minutes. Oh, okay then. I'm going to get out of here then. I will see you in a little bit, and how about a few more kisses to tide us over until then? By the way, might just put those heels back on for you later. I can see that's got you invested now. I wonder how much of that movie we're going to get through. I'll see you in a little bit, handsome.